Most people inspect their food labels more carefully than they inspect their beliefs, and somehow no one finds that strange. We live in a world where everything is tested. Cars, medicine, bridges, even phone chargers, except the religions that shape values and identity. So tonight, I am asking one uncomfortable question Americans rarely ask themselves. What if you tested your religion the same way you test your products? Because truth doesn't fear examination, only illusions do. Imagine your belief sitting under a bright lab light, stripped of emotion, tradition, and pressure, facing the same scrutiny you'd apply to a scientific claim. Every religion says it has answers, but answers mean nothing without pressure, comparison, and verification. In America, faith often becomes a background setting, inherited, assumed, and rarely challenged. This video isn't here to disrespect faith, but to ask what survives when comfort is removed from belief. You would never fly in a plane that was never tested, yet millions build their worldview on ideas they've never examined. A belief that collapses under questioning was never truth. It was just tradition wearing confidence. The strongest ideas in history didn't crumble under pressure, they sharpened. So why should religion be the only thing excused from testing? Most Americans inherit their religion the same way they inherit their last name, with no investigation into where it came from or whether it still makes sense. Your parents didn't test it, their parents didn't test it, and yet you're taught to trust it without question. That chain of untested belief shapes politics, morality, and identity. Breaking that chain doesn't make you rebellious, it makes you responsible. If a religion claims to be divine, shouldn't its evidence rise above because that's how we were raised? Shouldn't truth be clearer than advertising, more consistent than political speeches, and stronger than generational habit? If it contradicts observable reality, shouldn't that matter? Real truth aligns with the world, not with nostalgia. Testing a religion begins with asking the questions you were taught to avoid, because those are where the cracks usually hide. Examine its logic, moral structure, historical claims, and promised outcomes without fear. Any truth worth following will welcome scrutiny instead of running from it. Anything that collapses under honest questioning wasn't divine, it was fragile. Test whether the religion contradicts itself, contradicts the word, or contradicts basic reasoning. Contradictions aren't mysteries. They're engineering failures in the framework of belief. When logic fails, the entire system becomes unstable. And a truth that fails logic was never truth. Every religion claims moral authority, but morality that changes with culture isn't morality. It's obedience disguised as ethics. If a belief system justifies injustice, cruelty, or inequality, it cannot claim moral superiority. True morality doesn't need loopholes or selective compassion. A moral system worth following makes you better, not smaller. Test a religion's history the same way you test a courtroom testimony: evidence, consistency, and external verification. If its stories break under archaeology, records, or independent sources, something is wrong. Divine truth shouldn't crumble under historical fact. Reality doesn't bend to belief. Belief must bend to reality. Ask whether your belief is something you were convinced of, or simply something that comforts you. Many people don't believe because the evidence persuaded them. They believe because the alternative scares them. But fear is a terrible compass for finding truth. True belief stands even when fear disappears. If a religion is true, its teachings should create consistent outcomes in real life. If following it brings hypocrisy, chaos, or excuses, then the structure is flawed. A good system produces good results, and results don't lie, even when people do. Americans pride themselves on being skeptical, questioning media, politicians, corporations, yet somehow faith is treated as untouchable. Doubt becomes betrayal instead of intelligence. But questioning doesn't destroy truth, it reveals it. Testing your religion doesn't mean abandoning it. It means discovering whether you're standing on rock or sand. The strongest belief is the one that survives your hardest questions. Weak belief depends on silence. Strong belief grows louder under scrutiny. Courage is simply the willingness to look truth in the eye. Tonight, I'm not asking you to convert, deconvert, accept, or reject anything. I'm asking you to test the ideas you inherited, the claims you were told never to challenge, and the narratives you've carried your whole life. What happens when you press your religion the same way you press every other truth claim in your life? You may be surprised by what survives and what doesn't. If your religion is true, this process will make you stronger and more certain. If it isn't, it will free you from a cage you never knew you were in. Truth doesn't fear questions. Only deception does. So ask boldly, examine deeply, and let reality choose your belief for you.